Hey there, friends. Dana here, otherwise known as Dana Spirit Butterfly. Here offering an energy forecast for the current lunar cycle. I say current because I record this on the 6th of July. The new moon has just turned, new moon in Cancer. We've been doing these energy forecasts on the new moon partially to encourage individuals to recognize the cyclic wisdom that gathers as we move through our incarnation, our here now life. It's important to reorientate towards the natural world and to the wisdom that surrounds us in our environment. And when I say that, often there is a trigger then to think about environmental factors in mainstream dialogues, but I just want to declare that when I use the term environment, I'm talking about all of the external to you energy explorations or expressions that can impact you and also that form a part of your own personal ecology. And when I use the term ecology, we are talking about how we are all placed and situated in unique ecologies where we have this energetic internal interface or spiritual wisdom that also involves body, mind, spirit, emotions, and other things like pain bodies and relational bodies. But also we talk about that and how that dances or relates to external others. And when we use the term others, we're not just talking about people, we're also talking about anything that has a consciousness, anything that's alive, anything that's a part of your environment. And also not limiting the connection that you have to your memory, the thing that you remember, whether it's spoken or unspoken, known or unknown. All of these energy wisdoms, they fly in and through your experiencing, and our conscious mind only has a certain availability to grasp what is actually going on in space and time in any moment. And so again, we do these energy forecasts to assist any person who's drawn to listen to them, to dialogue perhaps a little bit deeper, a little bit further, a little bit more consciously into the self and into the spirit world, into the soul self. And soul and spirit are not necessarily the same thing. Spirit energy is something that involves a whole lot of energy wisdom. And soul is often an individual aspect of spirit or source code. So you have a soul, you have a personality, you have a part of you that's been enduring that identifies as you. And as I land on that, my great spirit consciousness that I channel and work through, or rather works through me, they are reminding me that this whole moon cycle is very much a soul dialogue. And the reason why it's a soul dialogue is partially because the lunar cycle is a Cancerian one. So for the majority of the period of time, the sun is in Cancer and the new moon today is a Cancerian new moon. It apexes on the 21st of July here in Australia in a full moon in Capricorn, and it ends with a new moon in Leo on the 4th of August here in Australia, which is also a solar sign of Leo. And Leo as an energy is known as the astrological influence that talks very much about independence and very much about self-sovereignty and very much about leadership. And as I land on leadership often entangles with a conversation around individualization or you being independent. And as we dance with those, or rather Spirit is explaining to me, as we head towards the Leo energetic, that independence, that leadership, that, finding your own voice, heading into what often is called the Lion's Gate on the 8th of August, or the 8th of the 8th. Before then, there is a shedding period. Before then, there is a period of evolution offering that allows us to step more fully into our own private voice for attention, for dialogue, and for concurrent conversation. And when I say concurrent conversation, that's because, as I'm being shown, we often have two conversations that we're aware of. One that's the external facing one that we share with our social networks and our friends and family, and this internal dialogue that goes on that's about independence and independent voicing. Of course, external dialogues often do need to take into consideration that which is in your environment, that which belongs to other people, that which nurtures and nourishes, things beyond the self. But the other dialogue, of course, that often we get a bit confused about is the internal dialogue, is the soul dialogue, is that dialogue that is the invitation to find independence and revel in your own strength and power or personal voicing. And so I'm being asked just to bring ourselves back here. So this theme, this moon cycle, is going to be a little bit around independence, but also just landing fully in the desire of what I want. What do I want to be a leader of? What do I want to be independent around? What types of things could I potentially bring forward that has my own blueprint or stamp on it? And how do I go about that? And Spirit's reminding me that if you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur or someone in business who does need to make a lot of decisions every day, the journey, particularly over the last 4 years since 2020, big year for the planet in terms of change and power dynamic structures, we are still figuring out the impact of what that was and how to navigate ourselves in our relationship with money today. And there had been a significant dip for a lot of people in their capacity to earn and their ability to feel safe and well in their own financial situation. And now this period of time, of course, also the end of financial year on the 30th of June, 1st of July, new financial year, midway of the year. A lot of these periods of time do create a bit of a flip or a turn where we've needed to take a snapshot in time about how are we doing and what our landscapes look like from the perspective of earning. And this month is going to be no different. There's going to be a deepening into an intelligence that helps you to land more fully your own voice and your ability to earn. And this is across the board for everybody. We're all attached to this wave right now. There are a lot of synchronistic messages being given to individuals to help them to navigate the space and time. And Spirit's just reminding me that often, at least in the past, there's been a certain amount of belief that when things go wrong in your life or where things don't quite work out, that often the driver behind that is somehow you're at fault or somehow you're wrong or somehow something didn't quite go right. But as we're moving forwards, there is an urging or a stretching that is invited to remember that all of these things come as an invitation to get better at what we do, to affirm our own personal voice and awareness of self so that we can dialogue a little bit more fully with the power of our potential, with the power of our voice and with the power of how well we might navigate this space and time that we're being offered here. And as I land on being offered, I'm being reminded that often there's a dance that happens in the 30s and 40s. So when you turn 30 and you go through the journey of your 30s and your 40s, there's often a dance around, what am I here to contribute and how am I here to be of service or value, or, what is my life mean? How can I make my life meaningful? All of these dialogues are very similar, slightly different nuance often when we're dialoguing with them personally, but it is a certain amount of priority that the soul is called to dialogue with these things so that we can become adult, stop being children playing in a field of all potential and instead specialize. And as I learn on specialization, again, the last 4 years has made it difficult for so many of us to fully specialize in what we feel really potent in order to continue going with that. We've needed a certain amount of support, and the financial support particularly hasn't necessarily been there. And so Spirit is just saying that there's a certain awareness of the need to balance the space of financial well-being and also personal voice that is still ongoing. And this arguably would go on for the rest of your life, but right now the dialogue is a collective one. There is a big shift towards alternative currencies and also alternative lifestyles. And this has been going on for ages, but specifically with this moon cycle, there's a very strong emphasis on deepening more fully into deliberate alternative lifestyle choices, ideally ones that suit you. Also remembering that a part of our wisdom when we're born in life is also to upgrade or evolve DNA, the intelligence that our ancestors have given us in the bodies that we have. And so again, this time period is not different. Eating differently, if you've noticed that over the last 6 months that your whole system seems to not digest the food that you've been eating previously quite successfully, then Spirit wants to actually say congratulations. That's a sign of your evolution. That's a sign of your cellular DNA looking to express itself in new ways and wanting to lean into different things to consume in order to support the lifestyle that you're choosing. And all of this is actually a divine intelligence wave. It's not unique simply to that which you've inherited or that which you've experienced or that which is done before. This is a commentary on the continual evolution of our natural world, of the biological balance that is involved in the natural world. Remembering, of course, the natural world is actually the food that we eat. The natural world is also the medicines that is available to us to consume so that we can live more healthy and more robust, or ease our stress and ease our illnesses. And so I'm getting a sense that we're going to wrap up in a minute, because as you know, with these channels, Sacred Feminine, they feel a little bit kind of meandering. They're supposed to. The idea with them is so that you can lean a little bit more fully into something that might resonate with you, with the desire to hopefully receive something that'll trigger within you a shift or a change, something that might evolve your strategy in a way that's supportive and nurturing for you. And so as I start to wrap up, just again, 6th of July, Cancerian new moon. Cancerians, of course, emotional water signs, a lot of feelings, a lot of introspection, and a lot of desire to change that often comes off the back of distress, comes off the back of not feeling met, comes off the back of feeling like nobody's loving me in the way that I want. Divine design, intelligence incarnate, inspiration, hopefully for you to evolve. Capricorn full moon, of course, is where everything starts to expand. Capricornians are very known for their administrative certainty. Of course, with that can come some rigidity and also a little bit of slowing down of centers. And as Spirit's reminding me, we've just passed the solstice. And the solstice in the northern hemisphere, of course, is the summer solstice. And specifically, if you're in the summer solstice, Capricorn full moons can actually stop you a little bit in your tracks. And if you're finding that, because now that you're in the summer fields, in the summer time, you might find that your energy is maybe burning a little bit too much, and that you might need some rest and digest time and not perhaps prioritizing that. If you want, the full moon will probably make sure that you slow down. I was going to say slow the F down, and start to focus a little bit more on what it is that you actually need, rather than getting lost in the extraneous noise of all the things that can pull on your attention at this time of year. In the southern hemisphere, because it is colder, our systems tend to be more slow already. So this might be just a reminder of nurturance, just a reminder of slowing down and being steady and consistent. And when I land on consistent, I get a sense that between the 21st of July, and the 4th of August, which is the dark moon, new moon period, the emphasis here is on staying with deliberate, conscious consistency, rather than bouncing around all the time. With August, because of the Leo energy, there'll be a lot of inspiration to be impulsive and to declare yourself as something publicly that may actually leave you feeling a little bit uncertain as to whether or not it was the right thing to do. those types of energetics. Again, all of this stuff is wisdom. All of this stuff is designed to inspire. All of this stuff is designed to keep your cellular DNA growing, evolving, changing, and moving. And the moving part can be unsettling for so many, particularly if you need structure and planning in order to keep things moving forwards for you personally. But of course, this is out of balance if that's done all the time. We need an even yin and yang balance. Typically, even if you don't like a lot of yang or a lot of yin, at some point your energy system will kick you in one or the other if you're not allowing for both. And so with that, I will sign off. Other significant dates during this period of time is the 22nd of July is known as the Feast Day of Mary Magdalene. I am going to be running an event for that, so please check out my website if that interests you, or you can check out my Facebook. Usually I have an invite there. And of course, you're also welcome to check out my Patreon account. All of these come under Dana Spirit Butterfly, so the website is www.dana spiritbutterfly.com. Patreon is patreon.com/Dana Spirit Butterfly, and Facebook, Instagram, also Dana Spirit Butterfly. The last thing I do want to mention is that we are also heading into the Celtic celebration here in the southern hemisphere of Imbolc, or otherwise known as Candlemas. It's known as the deepest part of winter, and Candlemas because typically our Celtic ancestors would light a candle on that day to call in the new light and the shift of the seasons, heading into, of course, the spring equinox. For the Northern Hemisphere, you guys are about to celebrate Lammas or Luxana. And Lammas or Luxana, let's go to that, is a celebration of the sun god Lu, otherwise known as High Summer. And Lammas is known as a harvest festival. And it's because it's high summer. It's because it's the end of the season, and at that point in time, the abundance is generally typically quite high. So you've done the harvest already from spring to summer, harvest happens, and you start the process of starting to prepare for the darker months. So with that, my love to you all. If you would like a personal reading, I would love to read for you. I also have a number of programs coming up for men and women. Psychic development is ongoing via my Patreon work, and my Rose Initiation program kicks off again on the 5th of August. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, please dive into my social medias, my website, or my Patreon work, which I'd love you to come and join my free Patreon membership, because that is very helpful for me to have you guys in there. And so far I've felt that the facility to communicate with my community has been great. I've had great feedback, so you can just sign up to my free membership for that. So much love. Until our next time, friends, please be well. Stay well. All right. See you guys. Bye.